Hey everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite books that I've read so far in 2014. So I have 3 series to show you guys today. I'm only including series that I have read all of the books, and then I have 10 other books to show you guys. So yeah, I'm just going to jump right into it. So I'm going to start off with the 3 series that I read, and first, and these are in no particular order, but first I have the Selection series by Kiera Cass. So I read this in 3 days. There are 3 books. The first one is The Selection, and then there's The Elite, and finally The One. And this isn't actually a completed series because Kiera Cass just recently announced that she's going to be adding 2 books to it. So the next one is going to be called The Heir, which is really exciting but also kind of annoying at the same time. So if you haven't read these books, I don't know what you've been doing with your life, but they are about a girl named America, and she lives in a dystopian America, which is called Ilya. So Ilya operates on a caste system, so she is one of the lower class people. And then we have the prince, who is Prince Maxon. Love him, and he has kind of this bachelor-like competition to be the next queen. So yeah, this is just about that competition. There are 35 girls trying to win his heart and thus win the crown. So it is just an adorably awesome series. It's so cute, it's so fun. I definitely recommend it. It is just, it's very near and dear to my heart. Even though America Singer is the most annoying protagonist you'll ever meet, Maxon is just, he's just perfect, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. He's just perfect. Next I have the Shatter Me trilogy by Tahara Mafi. So the first book is Shatter Me, then there's Unravel Me, and finally Ignite Me. So not only do these books have gorgeous covers, but the story is also amazing. So this is also a dystopian series that centers around the main character Juliet, and she has this special power where she can't touch anyone. So the officials, this guy named Warner, who is a soldier, I guess, he gets the idea to use her power as a weapon in like a war and stuff. So that was a terrible synopsis, but nonetheless, these are amazing books. You really should read them. It's such an incredible story, and it's just about love and sacrifice and learning to accept who you are. It's just awesome. And finally, I have the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. So the first one is Clockwork Angel, the second one is Clockwork Prince, and the final one is Clockwork Princess, in which Tessa looks like a babe. So this series is a prequel series to the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, and it also takes place in the Shadowhunter world, but this one takes place in England in like the 1800s or something like that. So we have 3 main characters. So these books are about an American girl named Tessa Gray who travels from America to England in the Victorian era, and she ends up being kidnapped by the Dark Sisters, who think she has something special about her, so they kidnap her. And then there's this guy named the Magister who is after her, who wants to marry her, and she takes refuge in the London Institute with Will and Jem, who are both shadow hunters. That was a very brief, really bad synopsis, but nonetheless, you really should read these books. They're really awesome. I like these even better than the Mortal Instruments series. So those were my top 3 series that I've read so far in the year 2014. If you noticed, Harry Potter and Percy Jackson aren't included because I've not finished them yet, so don't freak out. So now I'm going to get on to the other books that I have to mention. Next I have Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. This book is about a girl from Kansas who gets taken back in a tornado to Oz, but it's not the Oz that we all know and love. It's an Oz where Dorothy came back and she just went crazy. She's this tyrannical leader. I don't know if I said that right, but she just is wreaking havoc, and Oz is completely just desolated, and it's just a terrible place to be now. So this girl takes it upon herself to restore Oz to its former glory, and to do that she has to kill Dorothy. So it's all about that. It's just so intense and such an amazing read. I definitely recommend it. They just announced the second book title and the cover. It's gonna be called The Wicked Will Rise, and I'm super excited for that. I know there's some controversy surrounding this book, but I read it before that and whatever. I'm separating the art from the artist in this case. Well, not the artist, but like the artist's affiliations. But yeah, this is an awesome book. Definitely read it. Next I have Winger by Andrew Smith. So I've talked about this book before in a recent video, my recommended reads for contemporary. I'll link that down below if you're interested in watching that. But this book looks like a boy book. I didn't think I was going to like it. I wasn't going to get it originally, but then I found it on Book Outlet, so I was like, whatever, I'll just pick it up and see if I like it, because there's been so much hype about it. And after reading it, I finally understood what all the hype was about. This book is fun, it's quirky, but it also conquers some really tough issues that are pretty taboo to talk about. And I think that's really what makes good literature, is to be able to have a fun read, but also be able to talk about something very serious that needs to be discussed. And I just loved this book. I thought it was just such a great story. It was fun. It just gripped you. It was really great. It was just, read it. Just read it. I can't explain it. Prisoner of Night and Fog by Anne Blankman. This book is the first in, I think it's going to be a trilogy, maybe just a duology, but it's about a girl who is Hitler's niece, and she falls in love with a Jewish reporter, and through that she finds out a lot of things that are, that she's been deceived on her whole entire life. So it's really a story about finding out the truth about who she is and who, like, the world that she lives in. So it's really a great story. It's not just about like the love story. That is a part of it, but it's still, there's many more aspects to it, and I think those aspects that kind of delve deeper into who she is and who she becomes through the story are really what makes it so great. Next I have We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This book has a lot of mixed reviews, but I personally loved it. Like I've said like 3 times now, and a bunch of people have also said, it's best to go into it blind. I was spoiled the ending a little bit, but I did still enjoy it, but I think I would have enjoyed it much more if I wasn't spoiled. But it's kind of boring through the middle, I will admit that, but if you power through, then it just makes it all worth it in the end. It's really a story about accepting your issues and just moving past them, and it's just so, so, so good. Next I have Hollow City by Ransom Riggs. This is the second book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series, which the third one is coming out. I don't even know when, but I know it's going to come out at some point. But yeah, I read this book during Booktubeathon, and I loved it. It was so good. If you are not familiar with this series, it has like, I'm gonna try and get, it has like old creepy photographs that Ransom Riggs actually found and then kind of like wrote the story around, which is so awesome. And this was just such an amazing sequel to the first one. It really reminded me why I loved the first one so much. It's just such an interesting story, and the pictures just add so much to it. I've never read anything like this before, and I don't think I would be able to find anything else like this ever again. Next I have City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the conclusion to the Mortal Instruments series. So I read this book recently. I haven't even put it in my wrap-up yet, but I loved it. I was kind of getting detached from the series. It was just kind of dragging on, and I felt like it was the same thing over and over again. But after reading this book, I really remembered why I loved the series so much. You get introduced to some new characters, and you get to find out more about other characters as well, and I think that's what really makes this book great. It is such a great conclusion, but at the same time, I was a little bit disappointed just because I felt it was a little bit unrealistic, and I can't really talk about that or else I'll spoil like everything. But yeah, I felt it was a bit unrealistic and a tad anticlimactic, but at the same time it was action-packed. I don't know, I have mixed feelings on it, but overall it made me fall in love with the series again, and that's why I'm including it in my favorites for the year. Next I have Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. I'm actually reading Lola and the Boy Next Door now because I loved this book so much. I just absolutely fell in love with the characters, and Stephanie Perkins just wrote the backdrop of Paris perfectly. You feel like you're there, you're so absorbed in the story, and it's just such a cutesy love story, and just all the characters, I just want to be all their friends. It was such a good book. People aren't lying when they say it's amazing. And if you didn't know, this book is about a girl named Anna, obviously, who moves from Atlanta to Paris to go to boarding school there because her father wants her to seem prestigious and everything. So she doesn't want to go because it's her senior year, but she goes and she meets a ton of people, including Etienne St. Clair, the super sexy British American, also speaks French guy. So yeah, this is such an awesome book, and I just read it. I know it seems corny, especially the old covers. I like these new covers a lot better, but just read it. It's so adorable. Next I have The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I read this book for Bout of Books 11.0 readathon, and this book has some awesome illustrations in it as well. And this is the second Neil Gaiman book I've read. I consider it the first because I listened to Ocean at the End of the Lane on audiobook and I didn't like it that much, but this one I actually read and I loved it. It's such a creepy, eerie world, but at the same time it's fun and it's just so interesting. It's a story you wouldn't expect someone to think of. It's about a boy named Nobody Owens, or also known as Bud, and he was raised in a graveyard, and he was raised by these ghosts and everything, and this man Jack, who killed his whole family, is after him. So yeah, it's a story about that, and it's just such a whimsical but creepy read. I can't even describe it. It's an awesome book. You should definitely read it. And finally, I have The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. Today is actually the release date because I'm filming this on the 16th. Today's the release date for the second book in this series, which is The Infinite Sea. I can't wait to pick it up, but I'm gonna have to because book buying, man, just gotta wait. Oh, it's really difficult. But yeah, this book is a dystopian novel where aliens invade the earth and they completely desolate everything. But the way they're killing the people off is in waves. So we had the first wave, which, here, I'm gonna look on the inside. So the first wave was lights out, the second wave surfs up, the third wave was pestilence, and the fourth wave was silencer. And now, what is the fifth wave gonna be? It's so eerie and creepy and intense. Like, there's never a dull moment in this book. It was so good, just because it's so action-packed and you're just so immersed in the story. I would just pick it up. It's just so good. Just pick it up. Here you go. I'll give it to you. There you go. So those were all my favorites so far for 2014. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be doing kind of at the end of the year a like wrap-up sort of favorites thing, but I have so many books that are my favorites now that I just wanted to mention some now so then that end video doesn't end up being like so long. So yeah, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!